Chihintamo, Chahochifke, Cheyenne Kotham, Yaketeshe, Chahochifke, Ilhotum, Anyatlate, Gua Thotum, Samanokotomle, Joseph Kippenberger Kun, Oshte Kotomle, Susan Kippenberger Kun, Omwashotum, Lawana Osceola Kun, Ompushotum. Hi everyone, my name is Cheyenne Kippenberger. My English name Cheyenne was given to me by my mother. My traditional name Ethet given to me by my paternal grandmother, the matriarch of my family. I am the daughter of Joe and Dr. Susan Kippenberger, the granddaughter of Lawana Osceola, and I proudly work for the Center for Native American Youth at the Aspen Institute. I am a citizen of the Seminole Tribe of Florida. I was born here in beautiful Florida, and just as my family has for generations, I've lived my life surrounded by beaches, swamps, and oak trees. But as I've grown older, the lands have changed. The shorelines of the beach have gone closer to the boardwalk. There's less and less oak trees that surround me, and the Everglades is neglected. Everything I saw as a little girl is gone. The wide open spaces turned to shopping malls, the cow pastures into apartment complexes, and the creek we played and bathed in as kids is poisoned and polluted. I think of the pain that makes me feel, but then I think of my grandmother and her grandmother's pain and what that makes them feel to see their homelands be abused, destroyed, and poisoned. Every community owes its existence and vitality to generations from around the world who have contributed their hopes, dreams, prayers, and energy to making history that led us here to this very moment. May we recognize that some were brought against their will. Some were drawn to leave their distant homes in search of a better life, and some have lived on this land since time immemorial. Truth and acknowledgement are the foundation to healing and transformation. We begin this effort today by acknowledging that we are in the ancestral lands of Native nations, including the Taino, the Calusa, the Tequesta, and today, the sovereign and unceded homelands of the Seminole Tribe of Florida and the Miccosukee Tribe of Indians of Florida. Our communities and ways have existed long before the United States. We have survived attempted takeovers, the Indian Removal Act under Andrew Jackson, 3 Seminole Wars between 1814 and 1858, being hunted with bloodhounds, rounded up like cattle, and forced on the Trail of Tears, foreign disease, and racial hatred and violence in a place that only alligators, snakes, and mosquitoes can survive. We hid in a place that we knew, loved, and respected, and in turn, she respected us and helped us hide. We lived in our traditional camps of Chiquis, isolated from Florida society and the rest of the world well into the late 1920s. As developments like the Tamiami Highway reached the edge of our salvation, we began to interact and open up to new world concepts. Today, we are the unconquered Seminole Tribe of Florida and the proud Miccosukee Tribe of Indians of Florida. Despite forced removal and relocation, we are reminded of our presence in Florida every day through our native words and names throughout the state, on street signs, national parks, and more. Please recognize that people were forcibly moved from the land beneath us. As a means for survival, they abandoned everything they knew, their way of life, and the land that they loved. And you should too. Recognize the legacies of violence, displacement, migration, and colonial settlement that brings us here. To genuinely acknowledge the land, we must also go and connect with the land. Everything holds life: the soil, the animals, the plants, the trees. We are all in connection. And just as our bodies remember love or violence, those living beings remember the ways in which they were once treated and held sacred. Feel the cool dirt beneath your feet. Thank the sun for rising before you this morning. Appreciate the wind kissing your face in the afternoon. Let us commit to going beyond performative land acknowledgements at the beginning of conferences by connecting with each other and our earth in a healing, transformative way. May we be clear that acknowledging stolen land and acknowledging cultural erasure is not progress. True progress is defined in empowering Indigenous people, supporting rematriation of the land, and ensuring that real, accurate histories are being taught in educational institutions across the country. Empowering Indigenous people is also working to establish a more equitable and inclusive society, dismantling systemic racism and combating violence and erasure. And this is a reminder that no matter where you are in this country or in the world, you are on Indigenous land. As you carry on this week through this conference, I ask you to reflect on your walking tours, in your breakout sessions, at your roundtable discussions. Reflect on the land that you occupy and the benefits you enjoy from colonization. Reflect on what this land used to look like. Reflect on the lands that called this home for thousands of years, and reflect on your impact on settler colonization. And when you have your conversations about climate solutions and preservation, ask yourself, where are the Indigenous voices and perspectives? Indigenous people are, and always have been, the stewards of these lands for time immemorial. Respect and value our practices and knowledge, and remember that it will take all of us to protect these lands for future generations. I welcome you to my homelands. Thank you, Shanabashat and Mado.